Hello, I'm Ross Bremen, a member of NEPC's Defined Contribution team. I'm joined today by Tom Cook, who's one of the architects of NEPC's Plan Progress Report. For the 14th year in a row, NEPC has taken a detailed look at defined contribution, plan design features, and among other things, plan fees. Tom is going to share some of his observations from this year's study. Tom?
Thanks, Ross. I was lucky to be included on this project this year. In the past, you and I have worked on it together, but this year we had a great team that was comprised of myself, John Kavulis, and our team leader, Kristen Colvin. As you mentioned, this was the 14th year that we've done this project, and while some might think that fees have been such a prominent topic over the last decade that we can now ease off and focus on other items, we as advisors think it's important for plan sponsors to continue to be vigilant on fees. Over the last decade, we've seen a fee environment where plaintiffs' attorneys have targeted just about any type of fee issue that you could have in a defined contribution plan. These issues include failure to monitor, negotiate, or rebid record-keeping fees, failure to capture revenue sharing, failure to offer the cheapest share class, and excessive investment management fees. And as much as fee litigation has weighed on the minds of plan sponsors and been a burden, we have seen some benefits for participants. Fees are lower for both record-keeping fees and investment management fees compared to a decade ago, and record-keeping fees have become more explicit and more transparent for participants. If you look at the chart in the bottom left-hand side of this page, you can see that the majority of plan sponsors now contract their fees on an explicit per-head basis. Revenue sharing, which was the dominant method of paying fees a decade ago, has now become less and less prevalent as many plan sponsors have either eliminated it altogether or now return it to the participant accounts that have generated it. And while we've seen the explicit cost of record keeping go down over the last decade, we have seen record keepers try to increase revenue in other areas. If you've worked with NEPC for any amount of time, you've probably heard us use the balloon analogy. For when you squeeze one side of a balloon, that side gets smaller, but the air rushes to the other side and that side gets larger. Looking in the bottom right-hand corner of this page, you see a pie chart, and this pie chart shows the composition of all the plan costs that we noted in our fee survey in the past year. You can see here in the blue section that investment fees continue to make up the bulk of fees. In the green section, we have the cost of record keeping, the plan administration fees. But you see a gray slice here devoted to other fees, and it's these other fees that we want to focus on a little bit more. We've seen record keepers increase these other fees as we've seen record keeping fees come down. And that ties into that balloon analogy where we've seen record keepers, like I said, decreasing the plan administration fees, but increasing the other fees. These other fees can include things like loan initiation fees, loan maintenance fees, distribution fees, or quadro fees. Another area that we've seen record keepers make increased pushes is within managed accounts and with increasing their assets under management in areas like proprietary target date funds and proprietary capital preservation vehicles. In fact, oftentimes now when we do record keeping searches, we're seeing multiple quotes provided by the record keepers for administration fees, and these revolve around whether or not proprietary target date funds will be used. We're now looking at a box and whisker chart that shows the range of these other fees. You can see the majority of these other fees plotted between $10 per participant and $25 per participant, but the range itself is quite broad. The median other fee that we observed was $15 per participant. Now that may not sound like a very large fee, but if you applied that $15 per participant for other fees to the average plan size in our survey, which was 12,000 participants, that would be $180,000 in revenue for record keepers. There were a number of plans where we observed these other fees actually totaled a higher amount than the explicit cost of record keeping. At the end of the day, despite the fact that the fee issue has been around for over a decade now, this is an area that we continue to want plan sponsors to be vigilant and be aware of.
Thanks, Tom, for those insightful comments on plan fees. For those of you listening today, if you'd like to learn more about the Plan Progress Report and all of its findings, reach out to your NEPC investment consultant. Thank you for your time today.